The crazy thing about this particular way of eating is these are the 6 benefits: reduced inflammation, improved digestion and gut health, steady energy and stable blood sugar, better cognitive function, heart health, and anti-aging support.
We could be everything, anything that we see we could be. We could be everything that we want.
Subscribe your channel.
This is the week we get our life together, okay? We're fasting. At first I was gonna do 3 days, but I think I'm going to do the full week. Hold on, is this? Oh, okay. I think we're cool. So we're about to get dressed because it is Sunday. I kind of wanted to start the fast today, but I think I'm gonna do it starting on Monday. What I will say is this: Saturday and Sunday I did kind of halfway start by eating the way that I intend on eating, and already such a huge difference. Such a huge difference. I made such an amazing like watermelon feta salad with basil from the garden and red onions, all the things. It was so good, but I do need to get a higher quality olive oil because I use olive oil to cook from Sam's Club. That's fine, but when it comes to oil that I'm going to eat, I like to get higher quality olive oil. I am considering ordering one of those big things of olive oil straight from Italy because they don't put any of the extra fillers in it. So we'll see, but that's not the point. Right now the point is we're about to get dressed, and I got my shoes from Quin, these, and I am so thirsty and excited to wear these. So this is going to be part of our outfit today. So we're building an outfit essentially around the shoes, but kind of like not really, because they go with everything. I could literally choose anything and they would go. But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to put on this black Time and True tank top that I got from Walmart. These are actually really good quality. I think I'm gonna go get some more white ones, some more black ones, some more gray ones, and some of the other colors because I really do like them. And I feel like these will be sold at Zara for 20 bucks. Maybe we'll do that today. We'll stop by Walmart and get a few more of these. For the bottoms, I think I want to do my Quin linen shorts. So low-key we're kind of wearing all black today, but that's okay. I really feel like it's simple, it's easy. And then I have, okay, in honor, you guys haven't seen it yet, but let me just show you guys right here. We have completed the jewelry box. It is amazing. Now I do see a few little errors that I made, and I might sand them down maybe and like repaint over it, but I just don't know if I'm that bothered by it to exert any more effort. So for now, it's inspired me to kind of like start going through my jewelry, and I pulled out one of my favorite pieces of jewelry, and it is this hand chain by Melinda Maria. I also always wear my Melinda Maria hoops. These are the big ass hoop is what they're actually called. This is the big one. She also has a smaller one that I have as well that she actually gifted me herself at an event, as well as this hand chain came from that event. I met her in person. She's the sweetest human, but I always wear her jewelry. I have a lot of her pieces and they do not turn. They last so long. So I think it's about time for me to replace these, and I might go do an order to replace them soon. But also I have this chain, this body chain that coincidentally matches my hand chain. But this body chain is from Ana Luisa, because you guys know I used to work with Ana Luisa a lot. So I think I'm going to style this body chain over this outfit just to add like a little, you know, a little extra something. This has been packed away since we moved out here, so it's like I knew I had it, but I kept forgetting to pull it out. The other really cool thing I like about this body chain is you can actually double it up. Obviously you would have to like, you know, switch it up, but you could double it up and it kind of acts like just a long necklace. So I do really like that, but today we're wearing it as a body chain, and I think this is the part that goes around the neck and this part goes around, so you'll see. We're about to put it on. Let's get on our outfit. I will have these shorts and the shoes linked in the description box because I want to say this is part of their staple collection. I don't know that these will still be there come the fall, so if you're interested in collecting some really affordable linen pieces, then I would highly encourage you to go check them out. I want to say these are maybe $30, like $29 $29.90 or something like that. If they're not $29.90, then they're like $35, but they're not more than $40, which I think is actually insane and such a good deal for linen. And actually, I was gonna wear that tank top, but I think I might wear these high waisted today. Let's see what the weather is giving. We're supposed to have a little bit of a rise in heat and temperature this week, but it's just been raining and so crazy. It's only 94 today, mostly cloudy. It's not even gonna break 100 this weekend. Then come next weekend, it's gonna be raining again. So this is the outfit we're going for. We have the Quin's linen shorts. This top is 100% linen. It's thrifted by Michael Kors. I think I maybe paid $6 for it. I do have on the body chain right here that you can see, and I'm just like letting the gold pieces hang down here because I like that. I have on my Quin's suede bag with the charms, my Quin's woven ballets. I'll have all the Quin's items linked down below. I do have the Melinda Maria jewelry on, which I will link my Pascal watch. It's always linked in the description. I do have a discount code for the Pascal watches, which are amazing. Same quality as like a Rolex, real diamonds, all of that jazz. It will be linked down below in the description box. And the hand chain, I'm not sure if she sells these anymore, but I'll link it if she does. Definitely I will link the hoops. I think these are a staple. And then I have on my Ultra Human ring, which as you can see matches all of my jewelry perfectly. I live by this ring. I love all of the stats, all of the health things that I'm able to see just by wearing it. So all of that is linked, and I do have a discount code for the Ultra Human ring as well. So this is the whole look. Super cute. We're gonna go get our stuff from our list to fast, and we're gonna go over some of the revelations I've had and what prolonged eating like this for a prolonged period of time, all of the health benefits, which is actually insane spiritually but also physically. So we'll talk about that when we get ready to start, you know, going over the list and everything. So let's go. Let's talk the purposes of fasting. Now, there are many different reasons why people might choose to fast, but me personally, I always choose to fast when I am trying to hear from God a little bit more clearly, if I feel like his voice sounds a little bit too far away, or if there is any type of like temptation or anything that I am struggling with. I don't typically fast for things. So like I did not fast to get a car. I did not fast to get a house. I did not fast because there's a job that I wanted. Like I don't fast for those types of things. And the reason why I don't fast for those types of things is because sometimes we can want things that is really not God's will for our life or what he wants for us. And so fasting for specific things tends to put God in a box. But what I will do is say, like with my job, when I left my corporate job, I did fast because I was trying to hear clearly from God about, first of all, if that was the right decision, but also when should I do that? Like, how will I know? Like, I had questions and I really needed to hear God clearly when seeking an answer for those questions. So I fasted. I did not fast to be able to quit my job. I fasted to figure out if that was even God's will for my life. You get the difference? So right now I am struggling with certain temptations, like the temptation to succumb to what the world wants to see from me, even when it comes to like my platform and YouTube. Like I could go thrift and do all kind of fashion content and be successful from the world's perspective in that way, but something in me just knows that's not really God's will for my life, you know? And I know that because my desire to want to do that is lessening more and more every single day. Having my closet upstairs, like even just 2 years ago, thinking about the idea of having that satisfied me in a different way than the way that I feel today actually having it. And having it today, I think it's great. It's nice to have. It's a blessing, right? But it doesn't bring me fulfillment. It's just a place to store my clothes where I have space to store my clothes. You know what I mean? So having that material thing is not bringing me the level of satisfaction I thought it would when I desired it 2 years ago. So even just things like that, I don't feel this overwhelming desire to want to do a bunch of fashion content. I like to dibble and dabble because obviously I still love fashion. I think it's cool, it's creative, it's self-expression, all of those things. But I dibble and dabble in it when I feel inspired to. It's not something that I have this strong desire to do every single day. You know, like I don't live, breathe, wake up fashion. And I think that is a sure indication that that's really not God's will for my life, because one of my prayers was that God change my desires to line up with his will. And so the fact that that desire is lessening is telling me everything I need to know. That's just one example. You know, I think that when we try to force an idea of what we think we want, sometimes we get that thing and we still have no satisfaction and we feel restless and uneasy because that's really not the will of God in our life, you know? And I think about the way that I feel sometimes when it comes to doing fashion content in the way that I know some people probably want to see it for me, and it just does not fulfill me. It doesn't make me happy. It's not something I'm excited to do. But I am excited when I get to share revelation and I get to share the way that God speaks to me, and I get to share all of these interesting, amazing, wonderful mysteries that God has revealed to me, because I'm like, I know I'm not the only one who wonders about this. Like, anytime I get an answer and I just know like there's other people who are like, they want to know this, like I get joy and satisfaction out of sharing the voice of God, you know? So that's how I know that that's probably more along the lines of what God's will is for my life. And then when we think about the dream that I had, which a few vlogs ago, I shared the dream at the end of the video, where I felt humanity fall and everybody was trying to get on the frequency to be saved. There was the temptation of the enemy, which that frequency and that ship looked like a dragon. And then there was the frequency of humility, which the people who had landed safely on the ground, they had that. And there were so many people speaking with all different languages, and I understood all the different languages and I knew what they were asking. And the goal of the people who were on the ground were to get on the frequency of where those people were at so that they could guide them down. A lot of times people can confuse that with being of the world, right? The scripture says we're to be in the world, not of it. And I think sometimes we see people in certain crowds and environments and we're looking at them like, oh, you shouldn't be hanging out with that person and why are you there? And we demonize them for being in certain atmospheres and environments. But little do you know, God has sent them there to that place to go save that person so that they could land from their fall safely. But you wouldn't know that and you wouldn't be able to discern that if you were so busy judging. And I think sometimes people need to fast so that they can learn to not be so judgmental, because in your fasting, oh baby, God will show you your humanity. He will show you just how far you yourself have fallen. And so when you realize how far you've fallen, you're not really judging how far other people are falling, because you realize you're more or less in the same boat, you know? You may have some things figured out that they don't, but God is fair, God is just. Those same people you're judging for not having the things figured out that you have figured out, they have some things figured out that you don't have figured out. And that's just the nature of balance. That's the nature of just. That's the nature of fairness, you know? Everybody has an opportunity to understand others. It's just whether or not you take that opportunity to understand. So anyways, I way digress back to, there are certain temptations that I feel to conform to this world when I'm not supposed to be conforming to this world. You know, I'm supposed to be in this world, not of this world. And fasting is going to help me hear God a lot more clearly on the direction he wants me to take. Yes, I have some tentative instruction, but that is not how the relationship I have with my Heavenly Father works. Not only does he give me tentative instructions on the, onset, But what God will also do with me, literally order my steps, step by step, every single night. And I feel so blessed to be able to say this, but every single night that I close my eyes, I have an opportunity to speak to God. God tells me all kinds of things. Some things are not for me to share with everybody else because everybody isn't ready to hear it. But there are a lot of things that he's like, no, I want you to share this and explain it in a way that others can understand. And then also he gives me instruction on how I'm to move. And a lot of times how God wants me to move, there is a testimony even in my movements that he wants other people to witness and see. So I try to fast regularly so I don't lose the ability to be able to hear God clearly. So we're going to the store to get the things for this fast. And how this fast came about is I saw the struggle with temptation. And the solution to that temptation was fasting. In the dream, I was in a parking lot of a grocery store because I was about to go into the grocery store. And the person who I was speaking to, they had the title of physician's assistant. Now, if you know that God is a great physician, physician's assistant would be somebody who was aiding me because God sent them to me to help, right? So this person was explaining to me all of these things that they were putting in the grocery basket and the use behind them all. One of the things specifically was oranges. And the person was telling me I start my morning every morning with an orange because it helps with my awareness. It wakes me up, but also when it's time for me to go to sleep and rest, I'm able to rest. And I was like, well, I mean, I use ashwagandha for that sometimes. And the person looked at me and said, yeah, that works too. But this really gives you the energy you need to get going, but also helps you rest. And immediately I understood that there are several different ways to accomplish a thing, but there are some things that will accomplish that goal for you in a better way, in a healthier way, and also have multiple benefits. Like ashwagandha is only going to make you relax, calm, sleepy. It's a rare thing to have something that will wake you up, give you energy, but also allow you to rest. And just understanding that functionality of the different things in the dream was like very eye-opening. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about all of the foods that are on this list and what this diet would be considered. I Googled what this diet that includes fruits, nuts, vegetables, and naturally cured meats like prosciutto, dry aged meats, those kind of things. I'm also going to be doing like grilled chicken and things like that. Like what that category of eating would be considered. And it would be considered ancestral Mediterranean inspired, which is very interesting if you consider where the Bible took place, that this would be the diet that I was seeing. It emphasizes whole foods, natural preservation methods, and seasonal produce. The crazy thing about this particular way of eating is these are the 6 benefits: reduced inflammation, improved digestion and gut health, steady energy and stable blood sugar, better cognitive function, heart health, and anti-aging support. If you take these natural benefits and turn them also into spiritual benefits, you're looking at a spiritual benefit of not being inflamed or irritable spiritually. You're looking at a spiritual benefit of digestion, like being able to digest the word and hear what God is saying. Steady energy and stable blood sugar. I have been talking about how I feel spiritually drained or uneasy. This supports that steady energy, even on down to the woman talking about the orange and the benefits of the orange. Better cognitive function, being able to really see cognitively, spiritually, a lot clearer. And then also heart health, the state of your heart. It helps you to have a healthy heart state, especially when dealing with people. And then anti-aging support, like being able to balance your mood, your skin, your all of that, like the way that you physically appear. It doesn't age you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, you know? So just looking at the natural and spiritual benefits of eating this way is actually insane, because I did not come up with this diet. You know what I'm saying? It's so wild to me how specific God can get with me when talking. So these are the benefits of eating this way. And then just like different things about this particular diet, So I guess it would be, if you want to look it up, the Mediterranean diet, but the Ancestral Mediterranean diet, which is it emphasizes really like a raw food diet. If you really like look at it, everything is like, none of the stuff that I'm trying to eat requires you to really like cook in the traditional sense. I am going to do the grilled chicken, but aside from that, the meat is cured in a natural way. I'm looking for naturally cured meats, not the ones with a lot of preservatives. But those things are like naturally cured. So when you really put a plate together of this food, you should not have to really cook much. I might include oatmeal. I'm still thinking and praying about that, but we'll see like how it goes once we get in here. But yeah, I might even look up Mediterranean style oats like Amaranth, you know, which is really good and is a substitute for oatmeal and can be a lot healthier for you than oatmeal. So yeah, just very interesting when it comes to fasting, how specific and direct that God can be, and also the benefits to doing a fast, especially if you do a fast that God tells you to. This fast isn't one that looks like not eating at all. It's just a diet modification, which if you really think about it, is a lot to do with our diet, like our eye diet, our ear diet, like what you take in visually, what you take in that you hear, like all of those diets needs to be managed, you know? So let's get in here. We're gonna go shopping for our list, and I'm gonna try to show you guys. I brought my little cart clip for the camera, so we'll see if I can get over the discomfort of vlogging in a new state, you know, in a new city. So let's find a cart. I think I'll do a lot better if I just get set up with a cart here first. Okay, that actually works out a little bit better than I thought. I might move you though, because this handle is a little bit high.
Who I am depends on everything you say, then who I am is guided by your might and grace, and who I was doesn't matter in this day, 'cause you took away my shame and you washed away the stain of my past, and all the pain from once before. It cannot last, it will not have me. All has been undone, done, 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 done. The victory's been won. I'm following the sun, 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 and all has been undone. The victory's been won. Your love's been patient, been way too kind. You stay on my mind, beside me wherever I go. From the depths of the valleys, deepest of the seas, your presence is surrounds me. Calm within the breeze, you bring me to my knees. I pray, on my knees I pray. Oh God, oh Lord, you bring me to my knees. I pray, on my knees I pray. Thank you, Father, thank you, God, that all has been undone, done, 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 done. The victory's been won, 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 won. I'm following the sun, 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 and all has been undone. The victory's been won, yeah, all has been undone.
This matcha with the pistachio milk is actually really good. It's really good. Definitely will be repeating that recipe. I didn't add any like caramel sauce or anything like that on top, even though that would have been fire, because I was already adding the hazelnut sweetener. And the whole entire goal for me is to not eat like a bunch of sugar, because there's already sugar in a lot of things that we don't even realize, like bread. So, and then I already have the honey in it too, but my favorite bread is sourdough bread, which is why I really want to learn how to make it. Don't worry though, that's coming soon, that's coming soon. I'm about to go pick up my mom. We're gonna hop around to several TJ Maxx and Marshalls, maybe like 2 apiece. And the pants I'm wearing, I hope that I can find some on sale, or just some like really good stuff. I've never been to the sale. I only ever see hauls, so I'm really curious if I'll be able to find really good things. And also, home goods is part of the sale, so if I can find some really good like home decor things that I've been looking for, then even better. You guys, last time I told you guys I took her out, I needed to stop twice for snacks. I told her this time around we're gonna be out, bring snacks. She packed a whole entire lunch, guys. She got in the car eating cereal.
At least it was a healthy cereal.
It was, but cereal, like I'm already.
I know who I'm with. I know who I'm dealing with.
We're at TJ Maxx.
You gonna catch me slipping.
I'm surprised the lot is. I'm glad the lot isn't full. Maybe that means that it's not as crowded or crazy as we think.
Well, here's hoping.
So that was a buzz. The woman in the TJ Maxx said that sale is not in fact happening today. So we're at the Goodwill, the real clearance center. Well, these days not really, but I want to see what's in here. I think I've been to this Goodwill before, but there was another one I went to that was really good, and I just do not remember where it is. Hopefully one day I come across it, but we're gonna go in here and see what they have. Okay, let's do a little haul. I didn't want to like vlog while we were in there. There's a lot going on. But first things first is I got 2 of these little bags. I thought these were so cute because they're just like good farmers markets bags, and I could totally see myself wearing them in the summer as like an actual bag or a beach bag, just something that I'm not gonna freak out if it gets dirty or anything. And then I got this for $5.99. It's a little tissue box. I thought this would be cool somewhere in the house. Now I'll just have to buy tissue. These are the most interesting things I got. Oh, also I got this little cutting board. Okay, hold this. You know how like you could sense the potential in something? These drew me. This one is called The Treasure Chest. This book is from the early 1900s. I want to say 1910. This one is copyright 1965. So this one is like really old, but it has like little short poems and things like that. And I just feel like this is such a cool coffee table book. It makes for interesting reading. Let's read one of the poems. When God wants a great work done in the world or a great wrong righted, he goes about it in a very unusual way. He doesn't stir up his earthquakes or send forth his thunderbolts. Instead, he has a helpless baby born, perhaps in a simple home and of some obscure mother. And then God puts the idea into the mother's heart, and she puts it into the baby's mind. And then God waits. The greatest forces in the world are not the earthquakes and the thunderbolts. The greatest forces in the world are babies. Aww. So it's full of like little poems and things like that. This one is also called Words of Life. I suspect the same as far as the copyright, 1966. And it has just different things on, you know, like different short little things on friendship and stuff like that. Isn't that cool? Mm-hmm. So I thought these were really cool. They're gonna be coffee table books in the house. And then these I couldn't open, but I had to because this one is from the late 19th century. I don't even know what I just bought, honestly. I just feel like hopefully it's not terrible. And look at this little old book. I'm gonna put this on top of that Charles Dickens book that I have that's red. Oh, this is My Grandfather Gregory. This is so interesting. 1799.
That's when it was copywritten?
Yeah.
1799?
1799.
Wow.
It looks old. It's a story. Oh, if you had but known my grandfather Gregory, you would have been delighted with him. Never surely was there anyone so fond of seeing young people pleased. Ooh, and then like, there's like a little, this is like an artifact.
Wow.
This is page 101 and 102. I'll put
Why
that.
would somebody get rid of that?
I don't know. September, gosh, that is definitely before the 1900s. It's so interesting. I think this probably goes in the front right here.
This what you're saying.
I'm trying to put it in the place it goes. It goes over here, 102, right here.
I will put that encased in something.
Uh-huh.
So somebody's not just rifling through it and the pages come out since it's so old.
This is so crazy. That is insane. I knew it looked special. I just, you know, I have an eye for these things. So I kind of wanted to put that out.
No, well, you could put it out, but I would definitely have it covered in something
Okay, we'll see. And then I got this one. Looks to come from the same collection of books. This person had, this is a 1949 edition. This person had just a collection of books. I feel like the people just got rid of them and didn't care. By Elizabeth Morrow. Copyright 1939. A Pint of Judgment, A Christmas Story.
Wow.
The pages feel insane. I actually am going to read this, but it's a little children's book. So, yeah, worth the money, especially this one. I need to look this one up. But yeah, that's the haul. I was just doing stuff in there apparently. Almost got the stick, but I was like, it looked like a wizard stick. And so we had to pass on that one because I didn't want to bring anything unwelcome into my home. So anyway, off to the next store.
It's a new year, so I'm about to be on my Daniel fast. Daniel fasting, asking God, clean me, where's your napkins? The enemy's attacking, we always meet like Atkins. Cold words hurt like scratches, and I'm surrounded by Alaskans, but God made me stronger, a painkiller, I'm an aspirin. I'm receiving the bleeding destined for demons and heathens. Even when I'm leaping off the deep end, it won't work like a weekend. If you have a problem with me and how I'm simply eating, be careful what you say. You don't bring beef to a vegan. My friends ask, dog, why so serious? I'm like, dog, why is you joking? Hell's a flame domain and we on the first train smoking. Don't try to clean your sins when the heaven starts to open. That's like trying to pay your bills using Chuck E. Cheese tokens. God got the devil choking. I guess that's why he's croaking. And I'm the street fighter for hope, throwing God's word like Hydokins. Listen, I was broken, I put hope in, now I'm open to his lesson. So say it, name it, claim it, and stop choking on your blessing. And if I'm a holy roller, I guess we're all on a bowling tip. But if I roll with the kingpin, then who exactly are you rolling with? Bowling metaphors aside, y'all really need to hear me, because when that last day strikes, everyone will scream, spare me. Now, I'm not trying to offend, but there's no need to pretend. The devil's at our front door and we keep letting them in. I'm here to bring hope to the hopeless, old heads to the dope heads, because I'm sick of people gassing up these lies like a moped. Stop acting like we different when we in the same boat, because you get high and I don't, because you lie and I won't. I'm lusting after sins like women on a personal note, but with the person I know, he gave me purpose to float. So if you're addicted to smoke or you don't know how to cope, I'm not gonna judge or watch you fall, I'm gonna throw you a rope. But I believe in Jesus Christ, I don't worship a goat. Jesus is the green light, I'm honking at you to go. But maybe I'm the Jesus freak. Maybe I'm a little off. But remember, you can't excel in the world's office where people act Microsoft. And if I seem mad, I'm not angry at you, but how would y'all react if they started aiming at you? Oh, and to you non-believers, I'm gonna let you do you, because even you acknowledge God whenever you hear I chew. So God bless you. And to my fellas, let's stand strong and hold the line, man. Because when Jesus is running back, we block. That's our assignment. And to my ladies, you are the prayer warriors. We need you to sustain. But why y'all getting high off these guys? Why are you being Mary Jane? It's time to feel inspired, using spiritual weapons as our fire, because they're trying to nick our cannons using sexual mariahs. Those are sexual desires. Yes, the devil is a liar. This is how it works. If he distracts you at your job, then you're probably getting fired. The point is, Jesus is the answer whether you believe it or not. Because we'll all believe it a lot when we see things getting hot. And I know you have pain. It's the same thing I got. But if y'all keep asking me why God, I'm going to keep asking why not. And if the Bible says the last shall be first and the first shall be last, I just pray for this human race we learn to be Daniel fast. Thank you.
Good morning. It is 1:07, so afternoon time. I've already had my coffee this morning. I just did a regular latte and I mixed my almond milk creamer and my pistachio creamer. So good. I think I'm going to definitely continue to do that. But I'm about to make myself something to eat for the first time today because now I'm actually hungry. Something interesting. Yesterday was like the first full day of me fasting, and all of a sudden I was craving French fries from Chick-fil-A because my mom had them in the car and I was smelling it and I'm like, I wanted one so bad. The first temptation. After that, I really started craving like chocolate cake and desserts, things that were like decadent. Just that desire to have these desserts and satiate that desire was very interesting because I don't really crave desserts like that. I do sometimes have like a sweet tooth, but not that strongly and not in that way. And something that I am finding very interesting about this particular fast, but something I find in general about fasting is when you deprive yourself in one area, all of these desires start to come up in all of these other areas as well. So it's almost like because you're telling yourself no, all of these other extra desires start to come up that you typically wouldn't have. So in a sense, fasting starves out not only one thing, the thing you're fasting from, but it starves out everything because all of those things start to come to the surface. Things that you just didn't even realize was there, was even a desire, was even a craving. It's so interesting how that works. So I was like craving sweets, desserts, and decadence yesterday. And I was just like, boy, do I want a piece of chocolate cake when this is all said and done. But it was just a very interesting thing. So one of the things that happens when I fast is my dreams become not only different, they take a certain type of direction. That's how I typically know, oh, God and I were having a conversation during the course of this fast because the environment of the dream kind of shifts ever so slightly. The dream last night was about desires and temptations. And what God showed me in the dream last night is how something that looks so unassuming and unsuspecting in your hands could actually be the opening to tempt you into other things. The thing that you're looking at as a desire looks harmless to everybody else. It looks harmless to the world by the world's standards. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, it's normal for you to kind of like want that thing, right? But once you have that thing in your hands, it creates a desire and a temptation that is not good for you. And that was like what God was showing me in the dream, is how unassuming things can wake up desires in you that are not good for you, that really shouldn't be there. So it was a very interesting dream to have. Another thing that God showed me was, I typically don't talk about these kind of things, but I'm going to tell you guys, God also showed me people in the world that we all know. And he showed me a type of ritual happening that was centered around money. Basically, what these people do and sacrifice for the sake of money. But not only that, the thing that comes from that money then turns into a type of performance where they're on a stage performing for people. The crazy thing about the dream is what I saw was, if any of them stopped to connect with anybody who was watching them for even a second, they would stumble. And they would miss the mark in their moves and their steps because, again, essentially they're on stage performing. And I found that interesting because obviously when it comes to walking with God, we don't want to miss the mark. We don't want to stumble, yet we do. But from the dark side of things, coming across the right person, connecting with the right person could actually pull you out of darkness. And that was the type of stumbling that I saw, like stopping to connect with anybody in the audience watching them in the right way would cause them to stumble in the thing that they were doing that they really shouldn't be doing. The thing that I wrote at the end of this dream, which gave me a light bulb moment. The audience was focused on the people on stage, but they were focused on the wrong things about those people on stage. They were focused on the performance and what they were viewing, when, as somebody who has a platform and a stage, you have an opportunity to bring to light or bring attention to some very amazing, eye-opening things, right? But a lot of times the people who have the largest platforms, they're not giving us the right things to focus on, so to speak. There's very few people in the world who actually use their platform to focus on the right things. And so I just thought it was very eye-opening how God showed me a scenario of something that looks very unassuming actually being your downfall, that can awaken desires and temptations that are not good for you. But then the sacrifice that people make for the sake of money, what they bow and what they worship to, and then from that point, then being given a platform and a stage to perform, but they have the audience focused on the wrong thing. And I have to pay attention to when God is speaking to me about things like that, because that's the opposite of what I want to do. Even if I don't have a large platform or a large audience, I wouldn't want to sacrifice the communion and the relationship and the revelation and all of the things that come with my relationship with God. I wouldn't want to sacrifice all of that to have more people watching me for the wrong thing. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it, because even at this stage in my life with a small platform and not all of the attention are focused on me, and a lot of people don't have a clue who I am, everything I need is provided for. I have full faith and full confidence that any desire of my heart that lines up with the will of God, even if it's something as simple as, oh, I want to travel to this place. Yeah, it may not be instant gratification, like boom, now I can do it and God gives it to me immediately, but eventually the desires of my heart will be fulfilled. It just requires patience. And I think in this day and age, a lot of people lack patience, which is why they sacrifice and do things they should not do in order to have the thing that they want right now. It's the temptation and the desire that is dangerous to them. It's never a bad thing to want to be successful. It's not a bad thing to want to be financially stable. It's not a bad thing to want to be able to cause change and have an effect on people, right? Those are all unassuming things from the outside perspective. Those are all very good, cool, nice things to want to have, right? But in the wrong hands, or in your hands without a clean or unchecked heart, it can actually be dangerous to you, because what are you willing to give up to get it? Very interesting dream. And when I have dreams like this then prompts me to go into the Word and look at scriptures and stories about temptation and what that leads to. And today, at some point, maybe even tonight before I go to bed, I'll go ahead and investigate those scriptures and see what additional revelation I get, because that's just always how it works. I know that that's the direction God wants me to look at right now, because He's trying to wring out of my heart in this fast desires and temptations and things like that that are not good for me. And love that. Love that for me. But also it's part of that refining process that is also painful, because it's like, you got to let go of something you thought you wanted because it's just not good for you. And that's essentially what fasting is. Like, you're going to sacrifice and die to yourself, saying no to certain things that you could easily have, just because how much patience and self-control do you really have? Like, it's eye-opening, and it's like a test, you know? So that is day 1 of revelation, because that's all the revelation from Monday, right? And we started the fast on Monday. That's everything I got from the first day of this fast. So now we're in the second day. I'm about to make some sourdough toast and probably have some fruit, I think. But I'm also going to Google a recipe for the amaranth, because I kind of want something like that too, with fruit on top, and maybe some sourdough toast, but we'll see. I'm going to see what the recipes are giving, and then I'll take you guys in the kitchen to make whatever it is I decide to make, or at least show you the finished product of it. And then after that, we're going to try on this stuff that I got from the thrift store. because it's really cool accessories. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fashion things, and they are all just top tier. I mean, I feel like it may be a little bit harder, but I'm finding my fashion footing here as far as like what I can actually find. It may take a little bit longer, like I said, but I'm still able to find it. I just gotta look a little bit harder. Patience. Also, next week I am supposed to be going to California. I don't know what my time there is gonna look like because I'm going for my uncle's funeral. But if I can, I'm gonna try to thrift out there, make it to Hope of the Valley. I'm not gonna pack a ton in my suitcase so that I can be able to fit what I need to fit in my suitcase should I go thrifting. So we'll see. I'm only traveling with a carry-on, so yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm packing. We'll do a pack with me when I do that next week. But yeah, that's the status, and that's what today is giving. It's really going to be a lot of introspection and just moving slow today. I am not trying to rush and move fast and try to get too many things done, because again, when I'm fasting, I like to give God room to speak without filling my time with idle work. So I finished eating and I'm actually pretty full. The Amaranth gives grits vibes. However, I would cook it differently because I actually like low-key burnt it and I could taste that it was burnt, but the texture and everything is like grits. So it was good. I'll just cook it different next time. But here is my thrift haul. We're gonna try this stuff on, but let's go over what I got. First things first, we have the baseball caps. I love this NY one with the floral print because I just love the fact that I could wear it with so many different colors. And then with the Houston one, first of all, I love the burgundy. It matches my hair, but I like the, you know, representing Houston a little bit because that's our new location. As a matter of fact, the NY hat very much reminds me of this other hat that I thrifted. And I remember thrifting this hat, wishing it had like a LA or a New York logo on the front. So now kind of have both. This is very high contrast color and this is more muted. So now I have like two different ones. I will definitely be wearing these a lot, especially come the fall when it starts to cool down. Next, I got another fall item. Actually, I have one more fall item after this, and it is these leather gloves. I have been looking for leather gloves like this for the longest, but in black, and the ones with the studs on it that Gucci makes. And they were actually fingerless gloves. So if I could find myself the Gucci fingerless gloves, then I will, in leather with the studs, but these will do. They're very cute. They fit my hands perfectly. So this will be a fall winter staple. Another accessory I got was this gold chain belt. I have obviously a lot of different kind of like gold chains. So I can take this and really like wear it in a lot of different ways. If I'm wearing the belt by itself, it's a high waist belt, but I can also wear it like a pants chain if I want. And to be quite honest, it's giving Wakanda forever, but I could definitely wear it like a necklace also if I want, which is one of the things I look for when I am thrifting different accessories. This was $8.49. I fully think it was worth it. And then for the other fall item I got, I just cannot pass up a good pair of leather pants. So I have these. They're in a size 36, so that means they are not going to be tight. I was actually looking for a tight pair of leather pants. These are not going to be tight. However, because I have so many other leather pants and this one has a raw hem, I'm definitely going to take these to the tailor and have them cut into like an ankle length like long gaucho type leather pants. So I'm actually going to maybe leave the house and get that done today. We'll see, but let's actually try this one on first, because then I'll show you guys the next item. Just heads up, it is this beautiful cream dress by the brand Nicholas, and this is a brand that's sold on Net-a-Porter or Net-a-Porter, depending on who you watch. And this is originally a $700 dress. I got it for like $53, and this is like the second really good designer dress I found at this particular thrift store. The other one, if you guys missed the haul, is this self-portrait lace dress. So these are actually very good brands. So I will say, for the time being, that is actually my favorite thrift store, because I have scored some really good pieces, even home decor there. I've scored really good home decor there. So it's a little overpriced sometimes, but you know, you can't have it completely your way 100% of the time. These were 50% off, so I got them for $13. Okay, $13, and they are high waist if they were to fit me like normal. This is actually my old size. This is the old size I would have gotten for leather pants. So you can see they're like very big, but I am going to wear them a little low rise like this. I'm gonna have them cut into gauchos, and they're gonna look so cute. This leather is so thick and yummy and juicy, and it's actually lined underneath all the way until like about that much from the bottom. So should be fairly easy for them to cut them into the long short that I'm looking for. But so cute. I'm actually thinking I really am going to take these today, because I'm excited to get it done and get them back. And I mean, really there's no rush, because we are just entering into summer, so I really don't need them for a while. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll wait. But super cute. Love them. Maybe I should wait a little bit just to make sure I actually want to do it. Where are all my other leather pants? I think they're down here. Okay, let's try on the dress. And then the dress, it is so pretty. Oh my gosh. It's giving dilly dally. Dilly dally. It's giving princess. It's giving wedding rehearsal dinner. It's giving Lucille Ball. It's giving very vintage 30s, 40s. I love it. Honestly, I have no idea where I'm gonna wear this. Definitely not nobody's wedding, because it does very much give rehearsal wedding dinner. But I love the way it just sucks in, and like it's very corseted. It's boning right here, so it's very structured. The only thing is it will need to be altered right here, because it goes out a little bit too much. So it's gonna have to be taken in, so it really gives like this, how it's supposed to. But $700 dress for $50, I knew it. Y'all know, if you're not new here and you're familiar with these thrifting fingertips, the second I picked this dress up and I felt the weight and the quality of the fabric, I was like, oh, this is giving very, very expensive. I just knew it. So love this. I wonder if I could get away with just like wearing it with a pair of sneakers and like styling it up with a baseball cap, you know, like this is something I would do, truly. I created this TikTok story today of this dream I had, which I'm going to insert. But first I'm going to show you what I'm eating for, I guess you could call it lunch. I had sourdough toast for breakfast at around maybe 1 p.m. It is now, what time is it? 5, and this is what I'm having. The very large beefy tomatoes with mozzarella, fresh basil from the garden, and half a grilled chicken breast with balsamic glaze. And then I used this citrus salt and pepper on top to season the tomatoes, which is really good. But I'm going to insert the clip right here and we'll talk about it later. I had the most interesting dream that really changed my perspective on dealing with obstacles in life. The dream started off with me being invited to a private event, and I got to this private event by way of a private jet. And the person that had invited me was the son of someone who was extremely, extremely wealthy. Like, probably considered one of the wealthiest people in the world. One thing I immediately recognized about the people who had been invited with me is that not only had we all come from different places and different backgrounds, but all of us were an influencer of some sort. When we landed in the place that this party was being held, the place was covered in pure white snow everywhere. And as I was walking into the building, I noticed on the side of the wall, the building had in cursive the word Switzerland. We arrived in front of the building that we were supposed to go into where the party was, but it really didn't look like a building. It looked like a mountaintop covered in snow. And there were stairs leading up to the building, and the doorway was shaped like a circle. So we all kind of got into a single file line and walked up these stairs into this building. As soon as we got into this building, we were in a kind of foyer area, and it's almost like we immediately understood the vibes and what was going on. We looked around and we heard the word go, and I just saw everybody go in a different direction. And as soon as I realized everybody was going in different directions, I realized that this was an obstacle course of sorts. Now, I can't explain exactly how I knew this, but I immediately knew just going straight forward and down deep into the building was going to get me to the end of this obstacle course the quickest. However, when I went to head down into the deep, I noticed that there were things down there like monsters, zombies, walking dead, ghosts, demons, spirits, all that kind of stuff was actually what was in the depths of the building. Inner demons, right? I understood that everybody else also had the same knowledge, but they were all scared to go into the deep first. So they went on the little side quest, hoping to try to find a way around going into the deep. I headed straight into the deep. And although I was really nervous, I just knew nothing down there could actually harm me. It was more of the illusion that it could. I knew if I focused on any of the things that I was seeing, then it actually might do some kind of damage. But as long as I kept my eyes forward and went straight ahead and went through it, nothing down there could actually hurt me. I don't remember what I actually saw beyond the initial thing that I described when I went down the path into the deep. But what I do know is the next part of the dream, all of us were coming out of the building, and we were all coming out of the building with stories. It wasn't a situation of first, second, or third place. It was more of getting through the obstacle to get what we needed to get out of it. Did you get out of the journey? Did you get out of the obstacle what it was that you needed to get? And we all had different stories to show for it. This leads me to life. Life is a journey. Some of us start things off a little bit darker than others. Some of us go different ways because we're trying to find our way around certain things that we don't necessarily want to deal with first. But at the end of it all, the best way to the end is through it. And we all make our choices in life. I think it's really important to deal with the deep things, because I immediately understood in the stream that going into the deep first would accomplish what was trying to be accomplished the quickest, which was making it through. And sometimes we struggle to deal with the stuff that's deep down inside of us because it seems scary. It's like, you know what? I'm not ready to deal with that yet. I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to go all the way around it and hope that maybe I could just peek at it, from a different angle, but I don't want to go deep into it and be fully in it because that just seems too scary. But truth be told, if you go deep first, it makes the rest of the journey easier because there is so much more that you learn in depth than trying to go about things the surface way. So life is not a competition. Life is not about first, second, or third place or who gets somewhere first. It's really about the collection of stories that you gain on your journey that is life. And a lot of times those stories are really, really helpful for other people who are trying to make it through. When you overcome things, when you feel like you have, figured some things out, you share it with people who really need it, because life is about walking together. It really does no good for you to struggle and go through these hard things if you don't share it with somebody who can help you. And vice versa, the same happens. You might be going through something difficult, but I guarantee you there's somebody out there who has gone through the same things that you've gone through, and they could really help you through it, but it requires humility to even ask for help. All right, let's do a little bit of a haul. I ordered a couple things from Amazon. One of them is like really fun and cute. The other one is a necessity. So I have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, like the new one, but I don't use it as much anymore in conjunction with my Sony. I have the Sony E10, the newest Sony vlogging camera, and I have a mic connected to that camera, which makes the sound really good. Right now I'm filming on my iPhone, which sometimes I will do if it's just right there and I want to capture something. I think my camera's upstairs, I don't know. But with the DJI, trying to use that footage with the Osmo, it's like a lot of editing and sound changing and stuff like that I have to do in my editing software to make the sounds match, which I don't really love. So I ordered this mini mic that goes to, actually I could use this on my actual Sony camera, but it plugs into my DJI to make the sound better. And also I can actually use it on this phone as well. It's not the main, I didn't get it for this. I feel like this phone has really good sound, so I didn't get it for the purpose of this phone really. I got it for my DJI, but it is nice to know that with each side, it has the USB-C, this regular, and then this like little mic one. This would go into my camera. And I love the fact that it has a little carrying case, so when I am, you know, traveling around town with my pocket in my bag, the sound will be better. So I do need to go through these sounds, figure out how to make it work. The other thing I got was purely for fun. I was inspired by this creator on TikTok. I cannot remember her name, but she was talking about basically like when you have activities and things like that that you enjoy, you should have them out in your house so it's easily accessible so that you can always be doing that activity when you have a spare second here or there. And so I was like, you know what? She has a very, very valid point. So I bought these adult coloring books right here. I have this one right here, which I thought was really cute. And this one, Everything is Fine. And then this one I thought was really cute as well. And then I bought a pack of markers, like the pens and stuff, to color. And what I'm actually going to do is set these on my coffee table as coffee table books. And I'm also going to set one up here on my bistro table. And I have a little container that I'm going to put all the markers in. I'm going to put some over there. I'm going to put some over there so that when I'm just like watching TV with my husband or hanging out or whatever, I can just be coloring if I want to. Or even if I have guests, I think it would be really cool to let guests color a page and then sign it and date it. And that way it also acts as kind of like a keepsake. So I think that'll be really cool. And that's something I'm going to start implementing into my home coloring books, adult coloring books, and letting guests color and sign a page. So that's really cool. So I have a container that I got when I bought my orchid, the white container that I took it out of. I think that will be perfect for the table to put the markers in, and then I'm going to get a different one for the bistro table over here. So let's do that. Then I think I'm going to go into the closet and find these pants that I really want to chop the bottom of. It's on my list of to-dos and I've just been like putting it off. I also probably should be putting my winter clothes in the bags. That was on my list also, which I never really got to, but I don't know. I put on this full face, not full face, but you know, like my normal. And I feel like low-key I should be creating content because I have like my face done, but I gotta be honest with you, I really just want to color. I really just want to color and watch TV. I don't know, but let's like get these all like squared away and set up, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we're gonna have to decide which is gonna be best for this table. I can't find the container. I had set it aside knowing I was gonna use it, but I don't know where it is. But I do have this one, which is like a little planter, and I do have another plant inside one of these, like right here. So I feel like it could be cohesive. Not to mention my face planter is also similar stone. So I guess I could put this here. I think that could go really well right there. And then I'll just put the coloring books right here. Another thing is I have this right here, which I'm gonna put on the bistro, and I'll show you guys in a second because I have something that's this material over there, so I think that'll be very cohesive. But let's just put some colors. I kind of want to have a nice even mix of different colors, so I'm just gonna take a couple from each one. I'll probably dip back and forth. I mean, I don't really care if they get mixed up. That's not really the point, but I am gonna put the black one over here because I feel like I'll use the black one a lot, and I'll probably color most right here. The thing I like about these markers is they have the fine tip at the bottom and the fat tip at the top, so that's cute. Okay, so that's nice for that. And then I have these right here, which can go cute. Okay, I'm gonna move you guys a little bit closer. That's a great angle. So you guys can see from my angle, this is what my coffee table looks like. So that won't be there because that's going into the other one. The question is, do we put the colorful one here just so it gives a little bit more color and art, or do we do, I feel like this one deserves the whole like corner quiet situation. And I think that maybe like that. Maybe I should arrange it so it's like with, okay, there we go. And then this is a cute little like art newspaper that came with one of the magazines I ordered. I just recently switched the front cover just to have a different color, which works out because it kind of matches. So I think we're gonna do it like this, just kind of mix it in. Bring you guys a little bit closer so you can kind of see that right there is the vibe. I think that's super, super cool, don't you? Okay, let's go do the bistro set. So I ended the fast yesterday on Friday. So we did basically a 5-day fast. I say I ended it on Friday, but it doesn't even really feel like I ended it because all I had was like a singular bite of pizza, but I still continued to eat. Like I ate a white bean soup with bell peppers, spinach, and kale, which wasn't even really outside of the parameters for eating. But officially I ended it and like indulged today. I had a slice of pizza, I had some quinoa chips. I still didn't eat early though. I ate probably around, I would say like 1:30. And right now your girl is headed to get the thing I have been craving the most, which is chocolate cake. And I like getting chocolate cake from this place called Black Walnut Cafe, and I just so happen to have a free chocolate cake in the app. So I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna get my chocolate cake, I'm gonna eat it in the car because my greedy grandson, if he sees it, he's gonna make me give him a bite and I won't be able to say no. I do want to talk about my experience this time around fasting. The first thing, and this is just something I think it's just really important to know about denying yourself, even if it's not necessarily food. But the second you decide to deny yourself is the second you realize how many things you actually are like a slave to, essentially, the things that you idolize, because all of these cravings came up with things that I just was not even thinking about eating, okay? Like, I wasn't even thinking about eating chocolate cake. I was not even thinking about eating fries or any of those things that I started to crave when I started fasting. And it's crazy because I don't eat fast food like that. So the second I started to fast, I started to crave fast food and junk food and sweets and indulgent things. And I think that's one of the things that it's always been something I've recognized about fasting is when you deny yourself, your body tries to make you indulge. And it's so interesting how the same goes with your spirit. Like when you are fasting spiritually, that flesh will make you want to indulge. It'll creep up and make you want to indulge in things that you probably would not even think about doing because you're denying yourself in another area. So that's just very interesting, like off the top, that I wanted to talk about. But did I get any of the answers that I was actually looking for? I don't know that I was actually looking for answers per se, but what I will say is what I learned a lot about is temptation and how temptation works, because immediately upon deciding to fast and starting the first day of the fast, I was tempted by my desires. And those are the things that crept up. Understanding the mechanics behind desires, where they can come from. So I learned a lot about temptation. Another thing that I learned was about focus. When I was focused on working and doing things that I actually needed to get done, wanted to get done, not having those other things in my system actually cleared my focus more. I feel like I was actually extremely productive this week, and I don't know if that has anything to do with fasting per se, but if I were going to go by facts, all signs point to I was most productive this week because I was fasting, which is again another very interesting thing. I noticed that when I fast from certain shows, certain social medias, certain people, certain foods, certain just all kinds of things that we can indulge in, overly indulge in to make us feel good, you actually have a lot more time on your hands and you can be a lot more productive. So I did notice that I was extremely productive this week. Those are like the main things. So I guess that would be 3 things, like the temptations that come up, the things that you idolize that you don't even know, like so the hidden things in the heart, the spirit, the flesh, and then also the mechanics behind how desires and temptations work, and then also just when you set those things aside, how much more you can accomplish. So I guess all in all, that would be like 3 lessons that I really learned this week from fasting. And it's not things that I didn't necessarily know before. However, I will say that every single time I fast, even if it's something that I have an idea of or knowledge of already, every single time I fast, I have a deeper knowledge of that thing. And this week definitely gave me a deeper knowledge on the dangers of desire and temptation. I don't know what I'm going to be doing or what this next week is going to hold. Again, there are some things that I really want to get done. But with that being said, and the lessons that I have learned this week, I think it's really important to make sure I am correctly prioritizing the things I actually need to get done, and making sure that I don't make choices and go in certain directions based on my desires alone. And I really need to be consistent in praying and doing my Bible studying and seeking God, because it's really important to know His will for your life and what you should be doing. I remember years ago, years ago at this point. I mean, it was definitely at least 2 years ago, in a particular vlog, I had told you guys that when I had spoken with God and I was struggling with how to be productive or how I could figure out what to do or how to know if if my steps were being ordered, that I heard the Lord tell me to ask the question to myself, what would be fruitful today? And sometimes I feel like I've had so much revelation. I never want to take it for granted, but I fear sometimes I do, because this week that was something that came up for me repeatedly, but I hadn't really thought about that answer in a long time. But it really is a good idea to ask yourself what would be fruitful today when you're deciding what you're going to do. Like, what is the fruit of what your choices are for today, for your future self? You know, we know what the fruits of the Spirit are. So like, how are we producing that fruit in our choices? Sometimes the fruit we're producing is very selfish, because we're doing things as what we want to do, but not necessarily what's going to benefit the other people around us. And it's not to say that we shouldn't care for ourselves. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a difference between self-care and being mindful and then being selfish. So I definitely need to be mindful and aware that I'm not being selfish with my time, because the whole reason that God allowed me to have this time and allowed me this blessing of not having to go to my job was because my prayer was that I have more time for others. So I cannot do him a disservice by not giving others my time, when that was the reason I had prayed for what I had prayed for, you know? So just my little food for thought. I don't know if you guys are considering fasting, or if you've ever been curious about fasting and what that process is like. But for the most part, for the whole week, I kind of ate a lot of the same things. It got very redundant and old, I'm not gonna lie. But what I will say is I paid attention to how my body felt and how my mind felt. And there comes a time where you have to choose the thing that's going to bring you clarity over the thing that's going to indulge you. And I'm definitely going to choose clarity over indulgence every single time. Chocolate cake in hand. I've been thinking about this. First bite. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Definitely did not satisfy the way that I thought it would. However, you have to remember, too much of anything is not a good thing.